It's that time again, another road trip. How's everyone today? Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, depending where you're at, everyone. Well, it's 119, 70 degrees outside. Nice little breeze going on. Let's see who's here. Who's here? Hey, Bosa. Hello, hello. I'll be reading the chat later. Can't be reading while I'm driving. We gotta be safe. So, how's everybody doing today? Today is Monday here in California. How's everybody today? It's 120. Let's see here. Hold on, everybody. I'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. Don't forget to hit that like button. I can hear them blue angels out there flying around. I don't know if you've seen those videos that I have. The blue angels flying around. A bunch of junk mail. Oh, righty. How's everybody doing today? Let's see here. Right. So everybody, I'll be reading the chat afterwards. I gotta be driving. I'll be probably going for about 45 to an hour here today. You know, hopefully everybody's good wherever they're at. Righty. Here we go. Well, let's see. What was I talking about last time? I was talking about. Well, yeah, I was working. I was working for the post office, and then they got rid of all the injured workers there at the post office. So everybody was all scared about that. But I had already gone through that mess of getting kicked out of a company because you're injured, you know. So yeah, so then I came back. They had moved me, you know. They paid for everything, but then they figured they were gonna make me stay over there and get a job over there, and I said, nah, you know, I'm gonna go back to where I live and get a job, you know. And then, you know, they send you to these like therapists to check out, you know, what you know. They do tests, you know, spelling, math, you know, ask you what kind of job would you like to do and stuff like that, you know. Because supposedly they'll pay for your you know, education if you need to get re-educated. But you know, they're not gonna pay for like years and years, because I put on there like, oh, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor. But I knew that wasn't going to work. That they were going to go for that. You know, oh well, they don't pay for that long. You know, they'll pay for maybe a year or 2 year program. That's about it. So then they're all like, well, yeah, you can do security work. So that's why I'm in security. You know, but yeah, so I've been doing security for Jesus. I mean, it's been I forget how many years now. I think it's up to maybe I'd say at least 20, probably 20 years. I'd say. I think I'm not. No, it's been a long time. I forget what I done. Let me see. It started. Yeah, I think it's probably been at least 20 years. You know, but yeah. So you do different jobs. Security is not boring. I mean, unless you get a boring spot. But I mean, it's never boring. I mean, I've gotten to different places. One time I was working at it was called the Cheese Factory, and basically this cheese factory, let me change the camera here. There we go, so you guys can see the beautiful view that I'm seeing. Yeah, so it's called the Cheese Factory, and the Cheese Factory they they used to make cheese there. So they have cows. They have cows there. So then the cows and the cheese, they used to make from the milk. So they were milking cows. But now the factory pretty much closed down, and all they had was it seemed like a ghost town. And there was nothing there except maybe a couple of cows left that they still had around. And we used to have to, at nighttime we pretty much worked. It would be like an 8-hour shift, and you get out in the morning. But the thing is, this place was not that great. I mean, it was like they had rats, and I'm not talking little rats. I mean, they're huge rats. That they say that if the rats get on the like say if they get onto the in your car, they'll eat up everything. They'll eat up they'll eat up anything that's rubber. They'll make a hole. They'll make a hole in it. You know. But yeah, I mean, it's you go to the restroom, but you had to go through where I don't know if you ever seen a milking, like where they milk cows. They have these stalls where the cows go in, and then they have the machines that come and they stick them on all the udders, and then they they put the machine on them, and so they can get all the milk out, pump all the milk out real quick, and then the next cow. Well, there's this way you gotta get in there, and it's like real. Oh, here we go. Sorry about that. The cows. You had to go through there, and then you go into where the bathrooms are, because there was other ways to get there, but everything was locked, so you couldn't. They didn't give you a key or anything, so you had to, go in through there. So I'm like, damn, this thing is crazy, going in through there. But then I'm like, oh well, So I went one time, and I'm like, there's a bunch of like manure everywhere. You can actually take a piss anywhere. But unless you had to do the other business, I made sure I didn't have to do the other business, because I heard about one of the guards. He was in there. He said he was working, and then some of those big giant rats. They were in there, and he saw him, and he's like, "What the heck?" And while he's sitting on the toilet, the rat started coming at him at his boot and started biting on his boot, and he kicked it. And it's like, oh shoot, that's crazy. I said, I don't want to get caught with a rat going up my leg, my pant leg or something. I said, forget it. So I would pretty much, just stay. You basically stay. You walk around if you want to, or you stay in your vehicle. And in the summer, in the summertime, it was crazy working there because it's hot outside. It's 100 degrees at nighttime, even. Some nights you get a little bit of breeze, but so you turn on your AC for a bit, then turn it off, and but it gets expensive on gas. Especially now, right now in California, now the gas went up. I mean, we're up to $5. I put gas yesterday and it was $5. I'm like, dang. Now I got to work at least five. If I work 5 hours, that pretty much pays for the week's gas. It's going to be like $70. Luckily, I got a little car, man. I can imagine people with big trucks. Crazy. Well, so then that was one of the places that I stayed at, and then there's other places. I mean, there was another place that was by it was called what was it called? Come on, guys, this is a freeway. You're supposed to move, not stop in the middle of it. Jesus Christ! I want to drive. Okay, so then I went to another place. The next place was that I went to also. It was just like, I guess the canal broke, and it was like the road was all messed up. So then they just had me like parked there. You can take a outside, but mosquitoes, man, they kill you. And then I did also like homes when they're building new homes, you guard those. Also worked at a place where they have where they do all the those like the salads, and vegetables. It was a place that did all the vegetables. So basically when the trucks come from the fields, they'd go there and then they would pack all the whatever they brought. Green onions, lettuce, romaine, spinach, all the different kinds of vegetables. So then they just kept you know bringing in all that, and then also, well, spinach. There was a problem with the spinach. You know how it had E. coli. People were getting sick from it, just like lettuce. See, the thing is, people think that the stuff on the fields gets washed. The field workers get it from the fields. They throw it in a box or a bin, whatever they're picking, and then from there it goes to a box. And from the box, it goes to the warehouse where they have all and they sort it out, repackage it. The only thing that really gets washed is maybe those salads that are already in a package. They say pre-washed. Those are washed. But the other ones, they're not washed. That's why like, if I don't know if you ever bought cilantro, and you get the cilantro and you stick, or radishes, and they're all full of dirt and mud. Yeah, because they don't. People I guess they misunderstand that. They think, oh, all the vegetables and stuff like that is getting washed and stuff. Well, see, that's why a lot of people were, they're saying, oh, we got E. coli, from somebody pissing on the plants. Well, guess what? When they used to be workers working the fields, they used to be real strict. They wouldn't allow them to even take a break or go use the bathroom. They had to urinate in the fields. Well, guess what? Urinating in the fields, you're contaminating the vegetables and fruits. Whatever's planted. People are, they still have to relieve themselves. But then now they changed that. Now they're supposed to give them breaks and all that. But yeah, I mean. So people think, oh well, that's gonna get washed. No, it doesn't get washed. That's why you need to wash your vegetables. And then the thing is, they have chemicals, so the bugs won't be on them and stuff like that. And those chemicals, if you look Okay, they make a chemical so the rain ain't gonna wash it away. So do you think that putting it underwater is gonna wash it away? I mean, that's kind of like I always thought of like that's kind of. I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna work. You know, the chemicals coming off of the plants. You know, just rinsing them. You know, maybe if you put them in like one of those. I think they have like these kits you can wash your vegetables with. That'll probably remove it. You know, anything with a skin on it that you can peel it. You know, it probably, or you can scrub it like tomatoes. I mean, come on, tomatoes. See, that's the thing about tomatoes. Tomatoes are harvested and then they're coated. They're coated with like a I don't know if you've ever felt a tomato. They're like coated with a like they feel like real like wax, like kind of the same with apples. I mean, look at apples. You open up an apple or you bite into an apple, and all of a sudden, from like with that bite, like less than a minute, it starts turning black. The apple. Why? Because that's an old. The apples aren't that new. They're not new. They're refrigerated. See, the only place you're gonna get a fresh fruit or vegetable is if you grow it and is grow it on your own. You know, put it in in your own garden and water it and and if you don't use no chemicals. But then you got to worry about the cats and dogs taking a piss in it. You know, that's the other bad thing. You know, if a cat or dog pisses in it, the same things, they get contaminated. But at least you're not using chemicals. And people are, oh, we'll kill all the bugs. Yeah, but you kill certain bugs. The bugs kill other bugs, so that way your garden, you don't have to use these chemicals to kill the bugs. Like, those, what do they call them? Those ladybugs, the praying mantis. Those are the ones that also get all to take care of all the bugs in your plants. But like I was saying, yeah. So I worked at that place where they have the vegetables, and you get all these employees, they're trying to sneak out with boxes of vegetables. The thing is, the company always gives them, to take home, but then when they're taking stuff out, they have permission, and then they're all like, because they even told us, hey, if somebody starts walking out with boxes of stuff, because you're talking spinach. I mean, you know how expensive spinach is, and certain lettuces, they're expensive. So, I mean, if they're stealing it, I mean, come on, they're saving all that money. Or they're reselling it, people. But, I remember like some of the people are walking, hey, what do you got there? You got a big box full, and I look at it, it's got all kind. I go, open it up, because we're actually not supposed to open it. They're supposed to. We're looking at it, we're like, hey, what's this? Oh, so and so gave it to me, my boss. Oh, okay, well, let me call him. No. And then they just leave the box, because they know they're in trouble. But I mean, every year before because it's a season, they only basically work 6 months out of the year, kind of. And then if they want to follow it, they go up north, towards Salinas, California, and then follow it over there, and they'll work all year long. But if they don't, then they'll just, pull unemployment. But yeah, I mean, they're like, and almost at the end of the year, they give their box of a bunch of vegetables and fruits. Well, not fruits. It was basically just vegetables there. It was just, different kinds of lettuces, onions, and then talking about the spinach, how the spinach had E. coli. Well, there always a truck would come by and pick up a sample because they would sample every crop of spinach. That company would sample, get a bunch of samples, send them to the lab, and then they would test it for anything, any contaminants, any E. coli and stuff like that. Well, because employees still have to wash their hands and stuff like that when they go to the bathroom and come and work again. And they also have these things when they walk in. Hello everybody. They have these things that they step in, to get rid of the contaminants on their shoes. They go into this place where they're making the salads, you know, those bag salads that say pre-washed, but you should still pre-wash them again, because they only do so much. Well, so then they found out, I guess, the E. coli that it was already in the seed. The problem was it was already in the seed. It wasn't coming from the field. It was from the seed. So they had to regenerate new seeds and everything. So that's why spinach, all of a sudden, there wasn't any spinach for a while. But then it got so expensive, just like everything else, it's getting so expensive now. And then, so the thing is, it's like, so I worked there for about a couple of months. Then that job ended. It was about 6 months, I think, I worked there. Then they go, oh well, we have an opening at the hospital. Go work. She all asked me, well, how are you about blood? Are you afraid of blood? I'm like, nah, blood doesn't bother me. So I'm like, okay. So she's all like, all right. So then I'll put you in there. You get your 40 hours. There at the hospital, and it was good because you're indoors, but you do go out. But there's a lot of walking. I mean, you walk pretty much all day, because they call you, hey, we need this office open, and we got to go over there, or something, or hey, there's a patient in the ER, we need you inside, so we go in there, I mean, you get to see, what the nurses and doctors see in the emergency room, So it's sometimes it's pretty graphic, you see and then you get some people that are really bad, homeless people that, they don't smell too good, So you're like, oh, well, you have to you tell them to stay in the room, and then they close the door because they don't want, because one time we had one guy, man, the whole ER was, you can smell it. And it's like, dang, so they try pretty much to get him out as quickly as possible, And sometimes they even give them clothes. They had like sweatpants, tops and bottoms, and even tennis shoes. At the hospital that people would donate. So like if somebody needed that, they would get it. But yeah, I mean it was great. I mean working there, we see a bunch of stuff. Then they also had prisoners, but we didn't take care of the prisoners. The other guards would, but we would go in there and hey, well, if they needed a break, we go in and cover for them. And then, and we tell them don't, because we always made them read the do's and don'ts of taking care of prisoners. Because the thing is, prisoners, they're finding it. These aren't the high level prisoners. These are like from the sheriff's department. I mean, there was prisoners that were from, like, you're talking about murderers and big serial killers. Those we didn't take. The security didn't take care of those. Those were taken care of by guards, that work at the prison, and them guys, because we weren't even armed. Those guys are armed, man. They'll shoot. They even told us, they go, if a prisoner grabs you, they're not gonna let you. They're not gonna let them go away. They'll shoot through you to hit the prisoner. Like, oh shoot. They're not gonna kill you. They're gonna shoot you through the arm. You're gonna get a bullet hole, but they're not gonna hit. They're gonna hit the guy behind you. But yeah, and then they had to make sure that there's no steel knives or forks. They would give them these plastic forks and spoons and stuff. But we still had every time they give them their food. And then once they turn in their food, we would have to count the utensils, make sure we got everything because they weren't allowed to keep any. Yeah, because even in plastic, they could stab somebody with it. They could do some damage. And one time there was this guy. He was up in the ICU. In ICU, and then he's all they call us up there because the guy he hid one of the utensils, and so then we're like, hey, we know you hid it. Where is it? Oh no, I don't have it. I didn't get it. I didn't keep it. It was thrown in the trash. We go, no, you have it. Now either you give it up, or we're just gonna call the sheriff's department. They're gonna come and they're just gonna take you away. They don't care. If you don't behave at the hospital, if you're not dying, they'll send you back. They'll send you back to the jail. And then this guy's all like, oh yeah, and then we found it. It was underneath the mattress. He hid it underneath the mattress. So, he's still handcuffed, but, one time, one of the guys, he was handcuffed to the bar, and I guess he broke the bar off. And this was before I worked there. But the guy broke the bar, and he took off. He ran out the door with holding the bar and everything, and he's in a gown. He's even has the the IVs and everything hooked up to him and shit. And this was when my cousin, he was working there because he had been working at the hospital for years. And then the funny, he tells me the story. He goes, yeah, this guy. They told me which way he ran, so he goes, oh, okay, I'll go get him. Which in reality we weren't supposed to do that, but he did. They're like call the police department. The police department's supposed to handle it, or the sheriff department would come and it's in the city, so the police would come and get the guy and bring him back. Oh well, my cousin, the hospital was pretty close to the freeway, and this guy, he sees him. He's walking down. He's like running down the sidewalk with part of the bed. It's funny, So he's all like, "Oh man," he's all like, and this guy's like trying to get a ride, and the guy's all like, "Hey, give me a ride." So then my cousin pulls over, and he goes, "Oh yeah," he thinks he's gonna get away, and then he looks and he goes, "Ah shit." So he knew he was busted, and then he's all like, "Okay," and then he waited for the police department. Police department got there, and then they pretty much got him back into the room, But then you get some people that we had some people. This one guy, he was all drunk, and he's all yelling and screaming and cussing at the nurses and being a bad patient. And people don't understand that you can't do that because they'll kick you out. The hospital they don't have to put up with you. They'll just say, you know what, that's it. You're not. We're not going to help you. And if you're not dying, you're out. You're out the door, man. They'll call the police department and have you taken out. So this guy, no, you need to take care of me because he had a big slash on his forearm. You could even see, because I went into his room and you could see his arm. You could see, there was like a little bit of bleeding because of the skin. Your skin bleeds. But if you don't hit a major artery, you're not going to bleed to death. It's like kind of like when you scrape your knee. You get a little bit of that blood out. That's how much blood was coming out of the wound. And then you could see inside. You could see the tendons and the bone. He would move his arm, and I could see his shit moving inside. I'm like, damn. And then the nurse said, that's it. You're gonna get out of here. No. So they call the police department, and I told them, dude, they're gonna kick you out. You don't listen, they're gonna kick you out. So then here comes the police department. Get him out of here. And then, well, yeah, I'm bleeding. They're like that. They put a big band-aid on his arm and wrapped it. I mean, he's not bleeding to death. I said, hey, wait, you don't want to behave? You're out of here. We refuse service. Basically, it's a business. And so he took off. He's all, well, where do you want to go? Because there's not that many hospitals here. Well, take me to well, we can get you a taxi. Call a taxi. You got money. So yeah, so then they got rid of him. But yeah, I mean, people are stupid. They think, oh, I can do whatever I want. Then you get those people that are crazy, the crazy ones. We call them the 5150s. Hey, this guy, he wants to hurt himself or something. So police department has to come and evaluate him and see how if he's trying to hurt himself or not. And then if he's not, then but if he is, then they take him to like another place. It's called behavioral health. That place they take care of you and help you out with your problem, medicate you, and so you don't try to injure yourself. They start hearing voices or something. But then these guys aren't stupid. They're crazy, but they're not stupid. So they know where they're gonna go because they've been through the system before. So cop comes and they start asking questions, and they're like, oh no. They ask them what day it is. Do you know where you're at? All kinds of different questions, and of course they're gonna answer the correct answers. Because they don't want to get put in that place. So it's like, oh, okay, well, then, yeah, there's nothing wrong with this guy. Okay, so then they release him. He goes on the street again, and then you even get the other people. They just want to get drugs. They want to get medicated. They want painkillers or amphetamines. They say, oh yeah, I got pain, and they know they're the usual, as they call them, the usual people that come in. Then you tell them, oh no, you can't. We have to kick them out. If they don't want to leave, the police department has to take them out. This one guy, he's all like, well, I'm not, he's all, I can't arrest him. Well, then we don't want him here. You need to take him out. Because the police, they don't want to do a report. So they'll whatever they have to do to just get him out there, get him in the police car, and drop him off somewhere else. Basically, what they do, because they don't want to deal with him because they're going to let him out because if they're crazies or whatever, they're not going to let him be in the regular jails. Just a waste of money and time, as they see it, I guess. So then, so this guy, he's like, oh no, I'm not gonna go. And then, and he's telling him, he's grabbing him from one of the arms and telling him, come on, go out the door of the emergency room. And then this guy, he's all like, he's everything's fine till he decides to put his hand on the police officer. He grabs the police officer's shoulder. Oh man! Once he did that, man, the cop grabbed his arm, flipped it behind, and boom, he went to the ground and he told him, "That's it. You're going. Touch a police officer." So he's going to jail now. He's got to do paperwork. So assaulting an officer. So he took him out of there. And then we had another guy run out of the ER, and then we said, hey, we go after him. And then the nurses and all, hey, they call the cops, and we followed them. We can't really grab them, because people think, oh, security can tackle them and all that. We're not supposed to even do that, Security is not a cop. That's what people don't understand, they'll tell you certain things you can't do. I mean, the security has the same rights as any citizen. They can do a citizen's arrest, but that's if they committed a crime or something like that, or they assaulted you, then you can you can fight back. But other than that, you can't touch anybody. So this one guy, he's like runs across the street, and we're behind him, and like, hey, where you going, dude? You still have the IV. You need to go back. Well, I don't want to be there. Well, okay, you just have to go back so they can take the IVs off. And then we don't even carry handcuffs because we're not even supposed to restrain anybody because that's that we're not a unless you're a guard that's guarding a prisoner, then it's different. But if you're just there, you don't carry handcuffs unless it's one of those where you're allowed to carry a gun and handcuffs, pepper spray. Right there, it was just no weapons allowed. You basically just talk them down. If they attack you, then you defend yourself, of course. And so then this guy, another person drives up, and I guess he was a police officer, but he's off duty. And he goes, "Hey, you guys got handcuffs?" I go, "No, I don't have handcuffs." So I guess he always carries them. So he said, "Well, he needs to go back to the hospital. We already called the police. The police should be here pretty soon." So he basically handcuffed him, and then once the police department got there, then they took him back. But yeah, it's like you get these people, and then also parts of the hospital, they were old. There's like an old part of the hospital that sometimes they would close up, and basically there's no patients there, and it's dark and kind of creepy. Everybody would talk about how bad it was. That they would hear things. You'd hear noises supposedly. Oh, you could hear noises over there. And then there was an old pediatrics ward where supposedly they would see a kid, like maybe a 2 or 3 year old, he'd be playing with a ball, ghost. I mean, I never got to see him, and then you go into rooms, you could hear noises, in certain rooms, the lights would come on and off. Sometimes, the TV would come on, things like that, would happen, in that part. Some people would get scared. I'm like, they're not gonna hurt you, And then sometimes you had to once a person, like say a person died at the hospital, then they would put it in a body bag, and then they would put ice in the body, especially if it was one of those. If it was one of those that. If it was one of those that had to, like, they're gonna come and harvest its organs, because they come and harvest their eyes, their eyes, their heart, their liver, kidneys, all kinds of different things, they harvest. So you would then so you would go and you'd have to stand guard basically with the body, and then people would say, sometimes the body still moves, even after it dies, it has happened where the body all of a sudden it sits up, the body like it makes a noise and like exhale or something, and I mean the body's dead, but your body's got gases, they fart, they let out gases, and their muscles, and they can sometimes contract and stuff like that, So it's crazy, but yeah, it does happen, and if you're not used to it, it'll freak people out. But yeah, we used to do that, and then sometimes then after a person, like if they weren't going to be harvested, the body, the people, the family members would come in and they would see the body for the last time. Then the guy from the morgue would come and pick up the body. The sad ones that they would pick up were the babies, babies do die. They come in their little. They would come in with these little like miniature gas, like caskets. So take them out, take the babies out. The newborns. They're like maybe months, only maybe a month old or a couple days old. Sometimes they die. That's reality. But sometimes you get to see stuff like that. It's painful, for the families. And there's you get kids that come in there. The thing is, people that have kids, they let them eat those hot Cheetos and stuff like that. It's not good for them because we used to get a lot of kids that would come in and they had stomach pains, cramps, and they would end up in the hospital, for a week or two, because that stuff, the vinegar and shit for kids, their stomach starts eating at their stomach. People, you allow kids to eat hot, spicy shit. It's not good. Maybe once they're teenagers, but when they're like little kids, my sister-in-law, she would let her daughter eat them, and then she ended up in the hospital too. I go, hot Cheetos, everybody, hot Cheetos, yeah. Because then, it's fine if you eat food. The thing is, if they're only eating hot Cheetos and then they're not eating any food, that's the bad thing. When they're eating a big bag of hot Cheetos and they don't eat nothing through the whole day, not even any kind of food, that's bad. That's where they start getting sick. Everything in excess is bad for everybody. Even adults. So, yeah, it's crazy how different things, Yeah, so then, and I worked in another hospital too, But yeah, it's a different thing every place, you have, I've worked at like taking care of car lots, or even one time I was just guarding a pump. It was in a canal. Basically, a truck would come in and pump. It was a water truck would come and get water. Basically, because they were stealing the wires and the battery from the machine. And then it was out in the boonies. There was nobody out there. Only there was drug dealing and sheriffs driving around, and I'd be parked there in my car, man, mosquitoes outside. It was no restrooms either. But, now it's changed. Now they got to at least have a porta potty for you wherever you go. Yeah, so. Yeah, I try to stay away from these cars, man. Too many windows broken in my vehicles. One time I got in less than a week, I got 2 windows cracked by rocks. Yeah, so that's crazy, man. These, when you have to drive a long way, and then you get all these trucks doing, rocks for when they're doing a lot of construction work on the roads. And they throw rocks at me. One time I saw this rock, it was flying, it was giant, it's pretty big. I even saw it come out of the windshield. And I'm like, oh shoot. Man, I gotta go get the windshield repaired, luckily I had a deductible, $50 deductible, and they pay the rest. Damn, been here. I had one of those little dust devils, they call them. Windows picking up. Wind's picking up. And yeah, so know, it's never a boring day. You know, now where I work at, it's much quieter. Hardly anybody, except for wild animals. You know, you get the foxes, the coyotes, rabbits, snakes, tarantulas. Well, once in a while you get the crazies, the ones that live out in the desert that talk to themselves. You know, they're walking down the road. You know, and they're like yelling. Then the bad thing is, the funny thing is, one time I was driving, I got off of work, and you know, I saw this one guy. He was walking. He was one of those crazy guys yelling in the middle of the road. You know, just yelling nonsense. And then he got closer to this one area, and I guess there was another crazy guy there. And then he started like, you know, yelling at him. I guess they started yelling at each other. You know, and then pretty soon I got off work, and then I'm you know, so I'm walking. You know, he's walking. Then all of a sudden, I guess, you know, the other guy, the other crazy guy, he had more friends. So I guess they started like going after him. So he started walking back from where he was coming from, where I was coming from. And you know, these guys, there are like three of them, and he's only one. And they're like walking. You know, they're walking pretty fast, like toward him. And then they see me, because you know, you can see me through the windshield, and you can see my uniform. They're like, oh shoot, you know, they thought, you know, so they kind of like, all three of them made a complete turn and started walking the other way, like left them alone, like oh, you know, we're not doing anything, you know, we're just, you know, we're just walking. So that was pretty funny that they just walked the other way, left the poor guy alone, you know. And then one time I had one crazy lady trying to break in, sticking her head and arm to the fence. Drove up on her and go, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? She's all like, oh, I need help. I'm like, oh yeah, well, this is private property. Can't be coming in here. So she pulled her head back out, you know. And then all of a sudden, oh shoot, that was crazy. Saw I don't know if you ever seen a prairie dog. Prairie dog just ran right across the road, right in front of me. Small little thing. And the thing was just running out. I didn't run it over, but you could see. I think it's probably the same prairie dog that I took pictures of, video. I got some in my videos. You can probably see them there. But yeah, so that lady, she's like, oh no. I'm like, well, yeah, you know what? So I called the sheriff department. I said, hey, you know what? There's this crazy lady trying to break in, you know. And then she's all like, well, I'm going to town, you know, and then you know, I'm gonna. So I told the sheriff which way she went. No, they didn't find her. She basically ran into, because we have canals around. You know, there's no water in the canals. Hey, how's everybody? Let's see who's in here. Let's see. We had Bolsa in here. We got Samson, Harari. Hello. Let's see. What else? Guru. Welcome. Shadow TV. Hey, Gary. What's up, man? Hey, Nicole. Hey, Harry. Hey, how's it going, D? Hey, Macy Exotics. Hey, Nightmare. How's it going? Hey, Amy. Hey, Jerkins, Christine. Yeah, so you know, It's never a dull moment. Well, thank you everybody for coming in and giving a thumbs up. Wherever you are. Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning. Thank you. God bless everybody. Thank you for sharing and getting the thumbs up. Yeah. So as my friend Keys always says, hey, you know, call your mama, say hello to her, tell her you love her, because you never know how long she'll be around. So make sure everybody calls them, and then everybody go. If you need to get your channel going, get some more, go help to grow your channel. Go see James Gype. He's a great guy. Helps everybody. You know, everybody. Thanks a lot for coming. Bye. Till next time.